Hey, what's up, everybody? We're here on episode 8 of Inside the Circle. We got a special treat for you guys today. This is the first time we're able to bring a kid that's come through our program from middle school, high school, college onto the show and really kind of share his process on what it really looks like. We've done it with pro athletes, former athletes, coaches, things like that. But I think it's great for the audience and the kids out there now to really hear from somebody who's been here, been in their shoes from day one, who's gone through the transition, who's the best player in California, the fastest player ever in California, running track, a two-sport athlete, a guy who's gone through adversity, who's been injured before, who was a COVID kid who missed a season, who's transferred in college. And I think it's so important that the listeners and the kids in our program are able to hear from his mouth and kind of learn about his story and his process that he's gone through. The best player in California, Domani Jackson, 15 plus offers going into high school, multiple national championships, committed to USC. Now he's at Alabama. We're here with Domani Jackson.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Yeah. So kind of we're going to start with you, just kind of talk about your process from, little kid.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of, it's very simple, dive into when did you first learn about Winter Circle?
I mean, when I first heard it or anything, I think it was my true 8th grade year.
Yeah.
We was deciding because I came off actually a leg surgery, and I was like, I can't go to high school. I want to get held back. So me and my parents did some research, and we found you and found the program. And I think it was you guys' second year.
Yeah, second
of
year
opening up
for sure.
And it was like, I need to do it. I need to do this for my future. And here I am.
And for you, obviously, you were here before the program blew up. We started with 22 kids year one. I think your group was about 80 kids.
Mm-hmm.
We bus you guys across the street to the school in the bus and things like that. For you, was holding back something that was already in the cards? You knew you wanted to do it? Was it kind of a family decision? Was it because of an injury? Kind of what led you to getting held back? Because obviously it's popular now. Everyone does it. Back then people used to, not want to really talk about it. And we were just in everybody's face like, no, this is what you need to do. This is what it looks like. This is what your process could become. Kind of where from you as a young 14-year-old, 13-year-old kid at that time, how was the dinner discussion around the table with you and the parents talking about getting held back?
Yeah, most definitely. I had no clue when I first started to get, I hear it from it or whatever.
So did you kind of hear people were kind of getting held back then, and it was kind of something new?
Yeah, exactly. We would hear, oh, this kid got held back. And we were like, what is this? Like,
for sure.
We were all confused. Honestly, my mom, I don't think she was really into it.
Yeah. Dads are always all about it. Bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm cool with it.
Exactly. My dad was all for it. And we just had to convince my mom.
Yeah.
And then she was just talk to her friends and stuff like that. And the final decision was obviously coming here. Which I think was the best decision of my life so far.
That's right.
It obviously made me mentally stronger, just seeing everybody, just trying to compete every day. I'm just learning really what my body can go through, and even more push it to limits I never even thought about.
100%. So a lot of people, right? Dads are always on board because dads are worried about, athletics. Kids want to be bigger, stronger, faster also. What was mom's concerns? Was it kind of academics? Was it just kind of something that just she wasn't familiar with?
Yeah, my mom obviously wasn't familiar with getting held back and didn't know the point of it and stuff like that. And then we just kind of just broke it down and was like, this will make it better for me, more opportunities and stuff like that, which I think, honestly, it's a West Coast thing because a lot of kids back east never really get held back, and we'll talk about it. And it's just, I think it was just the best decision.
Yeah, East Coast is more, they do it prep school after high school.
Yeah.
Down south in Texas, they don't have to because they start their kids later. So they're naturally 19 years old when they graduate. And everyone always talks about, you're going to a training facility to go to school, right? Do you feel like what you did here academically was harder than what you did in your regular school 8th grade because it was online, it was a different type of learning? Do you feel like it set you up for high school? How do you feel like you did academically transitioning from our program to high school?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really good here because truthfully, when I was in 6th grade, 7th grade over there, in Temecula, it was mostly all like paperwork. We never really learned online. Here it was straight online, so you got the used to using Google Docs and all stuff like that as
communicating
kids.
With teachers online.
Exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
So it was more easy when I went to Modern Day because everything was online. We had iPads and
That's
we had
crazy.
we just had to do all schoolwork online. I mean, some obviously teachers wanted to do paperwork and tests on paper and stuff like that. But
so you guys actually did your guys' stuff online at Modern Day?
Yeah, most everything was online. So I mean, here it's just feeds you right into high school and now college. At college, there's no really paper; it's all online.
And that's why I try to tell people when we created this program. When I went to college at SC, which is obviously one of the best education programs in the country, private school, I didn't get books.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you're on Google Classroom, you're communicating with your teachers, you're emailing them. Literally, your book and your curriculum is on your computer.
Yeah.
You know, and when I came back and I seen how the education system was being taught here, because obviously starting the program for me, I had my sisters that were coming up. You know, you went to school with them, and 6 periods a day in your traditional school, 50-minute classes. I always say, kids sit down the first 10 minutes, they're just all over the place. The teachers for 25 minutes gives them, let's say you're going over math, you know, she gives you one problem, she teaches you how to do it, and then it's like you have 10 minutes to actually do your assignment, and then bell rings, you're on to the next class. And kind of how we did it here with the block scheduling and being able to do it online. I always felt like, why are we doing it the old school traditional way with notebooks and you know, having all these books if that's not what we're going to do in college, right? So it's cool to hear that kind of what we implemented back 8 years ago when you were here helped you transition to high school. When you got to SC, were you guys doing books and things like that? Were you right back onto the computer?
I mean, SC, we had books and stuff like that, but we weren't going through each chapter, reading each chapter. It was like we just picked a certain chapter to talk about or write about in our paper. But mostly all my books were online anyway. So I had like 4 books, maybe max, that I'll have.
How was your grades transitioning from our program to Modern Day? You had good grades or what?
Yeah. My grades were obviously, they're good. I'm not a straight A student, but
I mean, I get 3.0?
Yeah, 3.0.
Awesome.
So I always had 3.0 and above.
How did you feel like when we were here, right? Because we stressed the importance of you have to wear your polo, right? It's annoying that could get, right? You have to have school uniforms. And I always tell the kids that are here, like, your goals are to go to these private schools where you have to wear that stuff, right? So was it able to kind of, just from that standpoint, like just wearing a uniform, right? We had a 3.0 GPA average. You had your online learning, but you had your teacher in the class. Did all those things kind of pile up to helping you throughout your transition?
Yeah, exactly. When I first got here, I was like, man, I got to wear polo. I got to wear khakis. I got to do all this, right?
Yeah.
But truthfully, high school, I went to Modern Day, so it's the same exact thing. And I like it more.
Yeah.
Like you just buy 5 shirts for every day of the week. Khaki, same thing. You just wear the same thing over and over.
You don't gotta worry about what you're wearing.
What you gotta wear and pick it's just all right there. It's all simple and easy, and we all look the same. Which, I mean, here it's the same exact thing. We get in trouble here for not wearing our polos. Same thing in high school. Like we get detention. So I mean,
so in high school, what do they do if you don't wear your uniform?
Yeah. Actually, we were allowed to wear a college sweatshirt too. Okay. So any college sweatshirt, and if we don't wear that either, we got to do lunch duty, which lunch duty is just pushing trash around while people eat lunch and just make jokes and laugh at you.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good to hear. So when you transitioned from our, so you're, come here, you did the orientation, you decided to join the program. You came with a great group of kids that played on your youth football team. You had Josh Hunter, who was obviously Modern Day 4-year starter. You had Camp Sydney. Who else is part of that? Because Dylan Lopez went to where? Rancho Verde?
Yeah, he went to Rancho with AJ.
And AJ, right? And then Duffy went there also?
I think it was just me, Cam, and Josh.
So those are kind of your 3 boys. When you guys always tell parents, a lot of kids who come into our program in 8th grade, they're really not even thinking about, going to a private school. It kind of naturally just happens because they develop and then they end up being the best players on the circuit.
Yeah.
Did you think coming to the program, because you're living Temecula, right? That's almost 2 hours away from Orange County. Did you think coming into the program you were going to be a kid that was coming here to go to a private school, or was it just like, I'm going there to get held back? And
that was just my whole plan. I was just pretty much just coming here to better myself, making me bigger, faster, stronger, everything I can. And yeah, the process was, I mean, amazing. I was really originally going to go to Marietta Valley.
Yeah.
That was the whole plan. We was going to come here and then go to Marietta Valley. And then some stuff happened.
Duffy got fired, right?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, shoot, you look at me and then look at like every other kid that came here and regular kids outside of the program. It was just two different people. So we was all like, we got to go to the best high school, right?
Exactly.
So that's when 7-on-7 was popping. Like when we first got here, I think my held back year was when 7-on-7 really got popular.
Yeah,
we
really
played against the best of the best, and we was always like better than them. Yeah. So we was like, we need to go where these kids are at.
The best players, yeah.
Exactly. So we was like, modern day, and I was like, let me play. What was 4 verts? I think it was.
4 verts when you guys won it that year.
Exactly. We went to 4 verts, and it was like, yeah, I want to come here. So I think it was all just a process, and it all just came together and all happened.
And that's what I tell kids and their families, because so many kids, they come here like, I want to go to this school, that school. It's like I always say, so many things are going to change over a year.
Exactly.
And because you come in, right, you guys all came in, you played Pop Warner football. And I always tell parents out there, like, you don't have to play for a national travel team. You don't have to do that. And they hang their hat on, well, we play on the best travel team and we're this. That means nothing. I always go back to you. I go back to Jay Knott. Like, Jay Knott's the best running back in college football right now, played for us for Junior All-American.
And you were Norco. Like, no one even knows about Norco.
Right?
And that's, I mean, I give him the props. I mean, I play against that boy. And man, that boy hit the corner. I usually get hawk people. I'm like, damn, I can't catch him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I give my props to him. That was one kid, honestly, the whole time coming here, I think we was always
you two.
Bashing heads. Like, we always wanted to be better than each other.
Yeah.
And, full props and respect to him. And
do you believe that you have to play for one of these super teams to go to a private school and to go to college? Or do you feel like you just got to grind and put your head down and things open up?
I mean, it's just all about the work. I mean, you can go to the best freaking facilities. You can go to the best school. But, I mean, it's all about you at the end of the day. Like, your parents ain't going to be there. Your trainer not going to be there. It's going to be you. You got to wake up every morning early, do it over and over, and just compete and be the best you can. I mean,
because you're a guy who never did it for the likes. You didn't do it for Instagram. You literally just showed up, you put in the work, and you got better every single day, and you competed. And what came about that was, an opportunity that opened up where I remember sitting down with you and your family. And it's like, well, we're looking at modern day.
Yeah.
You know, it was you, Cam Sidney, Josh Hunter. It's like, dang, you guys are going to drive from Temecula all the way to freaking Orange County every single day. Like, that's a long drive. That's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
So you went through our program. You never thought about going to a private school. You were set on going to Marietta Valley.
Yeah.
I remember all the drama and stuff happened when Duffy ended up getting fired from MV or whatever happened. Then he ended up back at Rancho Verde. And your parents looked at me and said, we didn't send our kid here to go backwards.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going out to from Temecula going out to Moval. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's dudes out there, but you wanted to put yourself in a position to be the best player in the country.
Exactly.
So you went through the program, you finished up the program. When did you start thinking about private school? Was it kind of that 4 vert time?
Yeah, most definitely.
Was it always MD or you had other options?
No, I was strictly just modern day because I played with the Zorts, actually.
Yeah, no, I remember. We hated that team.
We had a kid, Jagger, his name is. His dad was a coach, and he was just pretty much,
Did he go to MD?
Yeah, he was just like, hey, come check out Modern Day. It's a great school. And, we never knew because we're from Temecula. Modern Day, I really didn't even hear Modern Day.
That's how, for me,
I never heard of any of these private schools growing up. Like, I played for Temecula Valley Pop Warner.
I'm an IE kid.
I played Marietta Valley Pop Warner. And they were just like, come check it out. And I was like, I don't know about it. Like, I really wasn't really feeling it at first. And then I was like, you know what? Oh, well, I'm going to just go check it out.
But when you do go check it out, you realize, like, dang, this is kind of a whole different world.
Yeah. One thing I pulled up, and it was just, it was just surreal because it's big old buildings, right? And it's like, this is a high school? And then you go see the facilities and then just a practice field and the program, and you meet Coach Rollo. And, Coach Rollo.
Yeah.
I love Coach Rollo, man.
That's awesome.
That's my man. And he just speaks for himself, the tradition, everything about that school. So we was just like, I want to come here.
Yeah. And I always say, when you're a winner, right, coming into the program, you don't know what you don't know. We don't know where we're going to go. We don't know what the process looks like. All we know is we're going to do this whole back year, and by the end of the year, hopefully I'm ready for high school.
Exactly.
Right? And then if you really trust the process and you put in the work, slowly but surely you realize nobody out there can fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm really this good.
Yeah.
Like you start getting the confidence, you kind of start seeing it, right? And then doors start opening up, right? So now you go, and I'm a Temecula kid. I'm looking at the #1 high school in the country, and it's like, how do I not go there?
Yeah.
You know, you got one of the best high school coaches, probably the best high school coach of all time. Public school resources versus private school resources.
Yeah,
and now you're surrounding yourself again, right? I always say winner circle. It's a small circle, but you're surrounding yourself by, you know, the most successful guys that are really focused on what you're doing. Did you kind of get that same vibe when you went to Mater Dei?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I seen the people who was there, and they're just totally different from public school kids. Like, it's just straight work. And they're just the best in California, truthfully.
100%.
And just competing every day, which what I wanted to do, go against the best kids. I mean, shoot, I had Brew McCoy, I had Amiral.
Yeah.
When I was shadowing, it's called like a little shadow day. You go see all these kids.
Explain what a shadow day is.
Yeah,
for kids who don't know.
Yeah. So if you want to go to one of these private schools, you're gonna have a shadow day, right? You wake up super early, right when school starts. They'll come pick you up from the office, and you go through the whole day with them, each class, every lunch and practice, and end of the day. My shadow was Brew. And he just showed me everything.
5-star at that time.
Exactly. Brew was a man in California. And I was like, dang, one day I want to be like
this life.
Yeah, I said, one day I want to be like you, bro.
That's
what I told him at the end of the day. I was like, I want to be like you, bro.
We all had somebody we looked up to.
Exactly. And I mean, I was fortunate enough to play with Brew.
Yeah.
So, but back to the shadow day, it's just, you just go through the day with the kid and see if you like it or not. And that's really all it is.
Nice. So now you committed to Mater Dei. We're in about, you know, April, May time, for vert time. Did you ever think when you came to our program, was your goal to get a scholarship offer before going to high school? Was that kind of not even a thought?
Yeah, it wasn't a thought. Honestly, I was just like, I was here to work.
Yeah.
Just better myself. Just be the best I possibly can.
Yeah, in this day and age, so many kids that we have are all focused on getting early offers, right? Getting offers in 8th grade. And I know we used to push that back in the day because we had the relationship with college coaches. We knew what we were doing with the athletes here was special, and they were doing special stuff when it came down to their combine numbers. Do you remember your first offer?
Yeah, it was Louisiana. Talk
about that trip.
We had went to a trip in Texas. It was Sam Houston, right?
Sam Houston State. They had like a mega camp.
Yeah, and that's when I was all swolled up. Everyone was like thinking I was taking all this stuff and whatever. And I was bigger than half the kids that was in high school.
Yeah.
So that's another reason like why I wanted to come here. Like I seen Jordan. Jordan was swole when I first got here, and it's not too swole now. But
you know what I'm saying? Baby,
nah, I'm playing. But yeah, it was. We went with Jaden, Keon, Shane
Illingsworth, Jaden Navarrete.
And then we was just.
And we just went like, hey, we're taking the older guys. We know we got some dogs that are younger, 8th grade. You know, Jonah Cardinell, who went D1. We booked the flights. We all went out there. Parents were like, really? We're going to go and do a college camp?
Yeah.
And then we flew out to Texas.
And then, I mean, I was strapping these kids. Truthfully, I mean, I wasn't even. Let me backtrack real quick. I wasn't even a DB at the time. Truthfully, I was a receiver.
Yep.
My first year here, that's when I really wanted to be a DB and see what DB can do. Just make plays every time you touch the field. And then I was just out there. I was doing what I do, I guess.
You were doing what you were trained to do. I just talked about that on my last podcast.
Exactly. I was just
said if you go to these camps, there's nothing that I could do on the sideline for you. I could hype you up. I could tell people who you are. But at the end of the day, you got to perform.
Exactly. It's all about you. That's why we got to tell these young kids, like, you can have the most whatever in life, but it's you. You got to do it.
Everybody.
Like, you can have whatever you want, but you got to do it day in and day out and work. It's all about the work. But at the camp, I was running probably one of the fastest 40s. Everybody was lined up, and I was like,
what'd you run?
I don't know what I run.
4.4.
Yeah, hand time.
Hand time. Everyone was like, I was like, they're in 8th grade. It was you and Jay not.
Yeah, everyone wanted to come over, and then I hear a coach just yell my name, and I looked over, and it was DJ Looney.
Yeah. Is he coaching still?
Nah, sadly he had passed.
Really? Wow.
That was my man. He stayed true the whole time.
That's cool. You can recruited you.
Sadly passed though, but he had came up to me. He was like, "You in 8th grade?" I was like, "I sure am. I'm in 8th grade." And he was just like, "Well, I want to offer you a scholarship to the University of Louisiana." I was like, "What? 8th grade?" And then who was next? Liberty had came up to me next, following. Yep. And then I was just like, dang.
We went there to go get money, right? Yeah. And it was like, all right, we got these 8th graders. We had Jaden Everett, who got offered in 8th grade, Shane Illingsworth, DJ, and then you were boom, that next group. And it's like, man, these fools are running crazy ass times.
Yeah.
Like, and they looked the part, you know. A lot of kids, you were probably 160, 165 maybe. So you're 5'11", 165, you're running a 4.4. You strapped up everybody in the camp, right? And then we left that camp. And that's kind of when Greg Biggins wrote about it. You know, people started writing these articles, and it's like Domani Jackson, who's going to Modern Day, he just got offered at this camp. And then from there, it really blew up because you went to what camp next?
USC.
Boom. Game over, right?
And then at that camp, ooh-wee. So, we backtrack. You know, you see all these kids, and it's just like, they're the best thing. They're the ones getting posted, right? When I'm a little kid, I'm like, dang, how do I go against them? Right? And then you see them at the camps, and you're the underdog. Like, you just a kid from Temecula, right?
Yes.
They think, oh, you ain't nothing.
Because you didn't play for the Ducks. You didn't play for the Buckeyes. Exactly. You weren't on the under-the-radar videos.
We don't really.
I don't give a fuck about none of that. I can't wait to see these overhyped kids.
You know, I'm not the kid who just goes there and talks shit.
Yeah, you just work.
That's just not me, right? But, I mean, I'll talk my shit when I need to.
Yeah.
That's just not me coming out just out the blue. But I go against these kids. I'm like, he ain't that good. And I go against the other one.
Yeah.
He not that good. And I go against the other one. It's the same result, right? And I go there a whole day. I ain't let one dude catch the ball on me, right? And all these coaches came up to me and was like, hey, come to this field, right? Because that's when the bigger dogs.
Big boy field.
And they were like, you know what? Just go take this rep real quick.
Yeah, let's see you go versus the guy that we're actually recruiting.
Then I strapped him, right? And it's the same thing over and over the whole camp. And then at the end of the camp, you know, I get a reward. I
remember the picture.
Yeah, I get the reward, ceremony, whatnot. And then we all walking away. Then I see and hear Coach Clay Helton, say my name, right? I'm like, what's up, Coach? And I introduced myself. He introduced himself. I already know him. He was like, how you doing, buddy? That's his thing.
Yeah.
And Big Horse. I'm like, I want to, you know, offer you a scholarship to the University of Southern California. They're like, man, you're joking. He's like, no, I'm not. I said, well, thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it, right? And then after that, everybody wanted to come up to me,
all
right?
It takes is that. Like, it's USC.
It was just everybody. I think I got like 7 offers out that one night in 8th grade.
And that's kind of how I always plan it for our kids, right? We always say if we could, our work for the full school year is to get ready for that June SC or UCLA camp, right? I take our kids to that SC camp, and by that time, you've been in the program for a year now, right? You understand your combine numbers, you're peaking, right? I always say your first impression should be your best impression. I'm not trying to I see these kids do these visits and showcases and stuff. It's like, it's September, it's October, it's November. Who gives a shit, right? So as they're getting all their hype and everything that they're doing, we're just in the lab. And we're working. And in my head, there's always a date that we're working towards, you know? So when we did it with the older guys before you, we kind of seen that same result happen with Aiden Breland. It happened with these other guys. And knowing kind of who you were and the type of athlete you were, when you had a chance to go to SC camp, if you could go there and you could perform, I knew the legend of Domani Jackson was going to start, right? Before even stepping on a high school campus. And of course, boom, get the text from your dad. He sends me the picture of you, your mom, dad, Coach Helton at the camp. Boom, he said, can you believe it? It happened. Bam. So we go from the first 2 offers in Texas, USC happens, and then from there, once you get SC,
it's kind
of anybody who's not SC and unders that, what they're going to do is they're hitting you on Twitter now. They're following you. Now you got rivals. You have 247, right? And there's nothing I could do for you at that time because it's you out there.
Exactly.
You know, all you have to do, you have to run your 40, you have to do your shuttle, your vert, you have to do what you were trained to do. And there's so many parents who are out here who are trying to sign their kid up for the best 7-on-7 team or train with somebody special or do that. It's like, it doesn't matter if he's not going to perform, right? You have to be ready to go perform, and you have to go out there and do what you're trained to do. And it's like, parents, well, why didn't you take my kid or this? Because you weren't ready. Like, I'm never going to put you in a situation to fail, you know. And the kids that we would take to these camps year after year after year, it was like 6 years in a row of our 8th graders getting offers from these schools. That's when we knew our training was at a different level. That's when we knew the preparation was at a different level. So now here we are, it's June. You get your offer from USC. You have 7 Division I offers, right? Now again, the Domani Jackson legend is there. And then we go to Modern Day High School, top program in the country. Did they win CIF the year you came in?
Yeah, so my freshman year, we did.
So you came in as a freshman. You guys won that year? So I know a lot of people, when you guys first came in, everyone thought you were going to be a guy who came in. I always say it's very hard to start as a freshman, right? Like, especially when you're going to the #1 school in the country. Like, your job is just to go play freshman, and if you get pulled up mid-season, whatever, awesome, right? For you, what was your transition process going into Modern Day? Because Josh Hunter was the first one to start, right? So when you went in, what was your process? What did it look like? Who was in front of you? Like, was the game fast? Like, was it tougher driving 2 hours to get to school? Kind of what adversity did you go through freshman year before you actually got the nod to be able to play?
Yeah, obviously I go in. I'm obviously undersized. That's the first.
Yeah, it's a completely different level. 19 versus 15.
Yeah, I had Elias Ricks, Jalen Davies, Darion Green, a few other kids. I mean, they were all starting their whole time there. Yeah. So I'm not just gonna, walk in and just, here's your spot. Like, I gotta work for it, right?
Yeah. So you're playing freshman?
Yeah. I was playing nickel, I think, my freshman year.
Okay.
That's where I got my stuff going. I had one start, I think, freshman year. Was my first game, I think it was. The first game.
Was it versus Gorman?
Nah, it was
So you started out the gates then?
Yeah. Just because some stuff had happened. I don't know the team. But it was just faster paced and
I always say it takes a little timing and a little luck if you're going to start early.
You're just not going to walk in and just be ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to work like that anywhere you go. Even if you're the top dude. Like, it just don't work like that. So I was just like, okay, let me learn from these guys. Let me see what they do every practice. Let me pick up from them. And when I get my opportunity, I'm going to shine, right? So that's what happened, actually. My last game of freshman year, player had got beat. And the coach looked at me and was like, "You ready?" I said, "I sure am. Just put me in."
Roll.
Right after that, and it was just lights out after that. And I mean, that's when the story really took off.
100%. So you guys end up winning your freshman year. You end up getting your start. What did your sophomore kind of campaign look like? Because obviously at this point you got probably 15, 20 offers, right? What was your focus? Was it bigger, stronger, faster? Was it transitioning back to track because you were a 2-sport athlete? Was it what was it like? Okay, cool. I got my first start as a freshman. I got my offers. What was your mindset going into that sophomore year?
So like I said, I was a rookie at playing corner.
Yeah.
I had no clue about
That's what people don't understand. Like, you were a receiver.
Yeah, I wasn't. My freshman year is when I really took corner serious. That's it. But I had went to ground zero.
Yep. And
obviously they had the top DBs. Always. Like, there's still people to this day who get drafted who still in the league I can learn from, right? So I went to them. So my whole thing was just like, let me actually learn this position. Let me learn how to, cover somebody technique wise and stuff like that. So that's what I did. I took it very serious. I went to ground zero. I played every tournament with them. Went to training, when I had off days on tournaments. Drove another hour and like 35 minutes just to go to training. It wasn't easy. I mean, the process is hard, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. It changes your whole life, honestly. To this day, it changed my life. But I was just like, let me learn this position. Let me go with the best of the best that I know in my area. So that's what I did. And sophomore year is really when I took off, right?
So you started every game pretty much that year?
Yeah, I started every game.
Yeah.
and didn't look back, and I still don't look back, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, because I remember when they came out with the rankings. Now that you're a sophomore, did you start off the #1 player in California, or because it was pretty much who was you and T Mac kind of bouncing back and forth?
Yeah, no, I was always a number one in California, but it was my position. I was always 2. Then I bounced up to 1.
Who was over you?
The first one,
because 22 class.
I don't know, but the first Travis Hunter was over me.
There you go. Okay. But, in Nation, not in California.
Though. Yeah, I was the #1 in California, and but Nation I was 2 coming out of high school. He was always #1.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So now you're here. It's sophomore year. You started every game. Where did your list start at, right? Because everyone goes, I have all these offers, and it's like, here's my top 10, here's my top 5. What were your top 10 schools you started visiting, or did you already kind of have a plan of what schools you were looking at, or was it kind of, I just want to go visit as many schools as possible?
You know me the best. I wasn't really a kid who really cared about that.
Yeah.
I know at the end of the day, when the day was to come,
were you always SC in your heart?
Man, I wanted to commit to SC since I was freshman in high school, bro. Like freshman, sophomore, junior, everything. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to SC throughout my whole college. So I didn't take anything serious because I'm a California kid. I just want to stay home and just shoot ball out there. And yeah, that's what I did. I didn't really care about any offers.
Was there any hard decisions for you? I know you were Michigan kind of.
Yeah, I was a diehard Michigan fan. Growing up, I was all Michigan, right? So it was always Michigan. I wanted to go to Michigan. Honestly, I was heavy on Clemson at first when they was popping. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go to Clemson. I was actually
Corey committed to Clemson, and DJ was there.
Yeah, I was actually the first kid committed in my class. To get the offer from Clemson.
Yeah, I
was the first kid in my class too. Bama, I wanted to go to.
The best schools, pretty much.
And that's really it, though. I wasn't.
Bama, Clemson, Michigan, SC.
Yeah, that's
not a bad 4.
Yeah, I was just I'm thankful for everyone, but just wanted to stick to these schools,
Yeah.
But.
So then, boom, we're there. You have your schools. You're doing your visits. Sophomore year's over. Junior year, COVID hits.
COVID, yeah.
Right? So a lot of people don't realize, even though you were the top player in the country and everything you've gone through, junior year pretty much was gone because of COVID.
Gone.
Senior year, you got hurt.
Yeah.
Freshman year, you were coming back from an injury, so you were almost off the field 3 years, which is kids disappear.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Having the spotlight, you're the best kid. Let me see this, that, whatever. And just people don't really understand what, I go through on a daily basis, what it does to a person. Your whole senior year, that's when you're really supposed to spark, right? And you hurt yourself, you injure yourself your senior year, your first 4 minutes of the game.
I know. Pick six, best play of the game, and then
man, look down and my knees just swollen and hurt. I'm crying, tears, I want to go back in the game. They take my helmet, you can't play anymore. My parents come down, get emotional, want to just throw everything I see in sight, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to college, still having that whole pressure on your back, talking about you're the best in the state. Let me see whatever.
Everyone wants to be the best,
exactly,
right? Until you're the best, and they don't understand what weight you're the weight of the city and everything you carry on your shoulders.
And it's people always want to talk down, find something to pick at you, and but still, if they was in my shoes, you really don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And it was the hardest 3 years of my life, right?
I bet.
Senior year, freshman year, really
watching
soft.
People play, making plays that you should be on the field, watching guys get drafted, starting.
And I'm just I got to be a positive teammate, person, because, you got to be. You can't talk down on your teammates or be negative any type of way.
Yeah, you got to support.
I always got to support. And it's just dang, I feel good, and then, damn, hurt myself again freshman year.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. You could go ahead, talk about me, but you physically
can't walk a mile in my shoes, dog. And that's when I bring up your name, people are like, oh, he had it so easy. And it's like, God bless you with looks, personality, speed, size, two-sport athlete. Like, they bless you with so many things. And people are like, oh, he had it easy. It's like, you guys have no clue who Domani is or what he's gone through and the adversity he had to face. And people don't realize, like, going back to even junior year, COVID football's done, you know, or it's COVID year, you know, so no one's doing anything, right? So how'd you navigate through that junior year? Because you're pretty much living here at the facility during junior year, just training, right?
Yeah.
And that was when we got you up to almost like 190 pounds for the first time.
Exactly.
What was your mindset during COVID?
Yeah, COVID was just like, shoot, I don't got nothing else to do. So I'm going to do football every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out every day. I mean, it's the only two things you could do during COVID, right? And I was just like, let me just see how big I can get. And
you think that was the best shape you've been in?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, you were taking it serious. That year was good. We had a good.
I mean, I was here, truthfully, probably like all day, man. I would just play basketball. I would just play basketball after workouts and just be here and shoot around because there was nothing else to do. And truthfully, I mean, it helped, right?
You've seen people during COVID go one way where they got out of shape, they were doing nothing, and you've seen the guys that were still locked in, you know, they were still making the best of their 24 hours.
Exactly. It was the best.
So COVID season, boom, done.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about kind of as your junior year is coming up, COVID's over. Talk about your track season, right? So you when did you start running track again? Was it your freshman year?
Was that my freshman year?
Did you run your freshman year or you took off freshman year?
I don't even remember. I think it was either sophomore year or freshman year.
Because we have so many two-sport athletes at the youth level, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever, you know, where they all think it's easy to be a two-sport athlete.
Yes.
And I said there's very few athletes who've ever been two-sport athletes in our program.
Yeah.
It was you and Grant Gray. Yeah. Right? Grant Gray was a two-sport athlete for baseball and football. Obviously went to UCLA. You were doing it in track in high school. How'd you balance the two-sport athlete grind? Because you would have football in the fall, you would have track in the spring, plus you would have 7-on-7, plus you had recruiting trips, plus you had football training. Like, talk about what it really means to be a two-sport athlete and why eventually you had to pick between track or football.
Yeah, exactly. You know, during like January-ish, that's when I think track really is happening. And it's just, you have to really truthfully just pick one. During the time period, you have to pick one. You can't do both because it's too much on your body. It's just too much. But I just stuck to track, and I seen football practice, right? But I couldn't go to football practice because I had track practice. So it's just like, and the times are exactly the same. Like, we had a full day of football, and it's a full day of track. So it's just like, you really have to pick one. You really can't do two at the same time, right? And during like 7-on-7 season, as you're saying, I had to just choose track because it was towards the end of the season. So
Nationals,
I really,
that stuff, Arcadia.
Yeah, I really couldn't even touch football because I was focused so much on track. And then towards the end of track, that's when you can hop back in football, but it's towards the end of the 7-on-7, you know? So, and you're not really, track and football are two different sports.
Yeah, track, you're running straight line. DB, you're doing everything backwards.
It's different when you first come from track to go back to football, right?
Yeah.
So you got to relearn that, and that obviously takes like a few weeks. It's just not, you can't go back on the football field and just be balling.
For sure.
That was my probably say my hardest little thing doing two sport. Yeah.
And for you, right, you became the fastest player ever in the state of California, beating the 100-yard meter dash, which is a 10.25, which is insane, right?
And most people don't even know this, but I truthfully ran, I think, 3 meets before that. Then I had
barely did track that year because it was COVID football that time.
No,
because you had your modern day 5 games plus you're trying to do in track, right?
But I had injured my hamstring, so I was out for
doing recovery
5 weeks. Yeah, right. And then I go running a 10.2. I truthfully never ran a full season of track, and I still ran a 10.25. Like, I wish I could run a full season still.
See where you
just see what I could really possibly get. Right?
Do you think you'd be a sub 10 guy?
Yeah, I could be
all day.
I mean, I ran 10.2 like
without training, really.
Yeah. Just going out there, back out there after my hamstring. That's what most people don't realize. Like,
100%.
I'm pretty fast.
Very fast, right?
Yeah.
So with you beating the California 100-yard meter dash record, Did at that point where now you're a 10.25 as a junior, you can't run your senior year because you're enrolling in college early. Did you think you were going to run track in college, or was it kind of like I watched Domani Jackson do it? It never really worked. You see these guys who do football and track, they always phase out in college because you got to pick. You know, did you think like, okay, I'm going to try to do track in college, or was it like I'm fast, but I don't have the hours in the day to go and do and be the best at it as I want to be?
I mean, truthfully, yeah. My whole plan was actually to run track in college. Like, I was talking to all the coaches. We was all good for it. But I still went to college and I was still injured, right? So I just wanted to get my knee.
I got to get healthy.
I wanted to get my knee completely right.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest thing. Like, I didn't want to touch the track. I wanted to just focus on my knee and get it 100% right. So I couldn't run track in college, but my whole plan was to run.
Damn. So you're going to run track. So you run track, you get the 10.25, you break that record, you're getting ready for your senior year. When did you commit to SC? What was it? Fall?
Yeah, so
was it summer?
It was senior year, right before my championship game. Dante told me that he's going to stay, and I was like, I'm coming.
So senior year, you're already hurt, right?
Yeah.
Dante calls you and says, hey, Coach Helton's fired, right? So let's back up a little bit. Your senior year, first play of your game versus a team from Texas, pick 6, blow your knee out, and then that's one big blow to you, right? Mindset-wise. Then boom, the second big blow is Coach Helton gets fired at USC.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like, bam, hurt myself. The college I'm committed to, he's hurt, or the coach gets fired. Now your position coach, which is right, it's Dante. Dante, you had a good relationship with him. He becomes a new head coach, right, at USC.
I actually decommitted during that time.
Yeah, you did decommit.
I decommitted, and then
did you take visits when you decommitted? Or
I went to Alabama. I went to Michigan.
I remember that. It got confusing for a second.
Yeah.
So
truthfully,
right. Did you ever waver?
So I was actually committed to Alabama coming to high school. Like, no one knew. Obviously, Nick Saban knew.
Yeah.
And everyone knew there. And then Dante gave me that call, a championship game, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to commit here publicly.
Yeah.
Because Bama was silent. Only in-house.
Yeah, in-house for sure.
And the hardest thing was to call Nick Saban.
I know. That's a hard call. Damn.
Tell him. And his exact words was, I wish you the best. Person. Yeah, I wish you the best, but you always have a place here.
Yeah.
Right? And that stuck with me.
Yeah, he didn't go and tell you you're making a bad decision to this, to that. Kind of let you do your own thing. So now you're committed to SC. Now, obviously, when you were hurt, you really weren't doing any football. There was no football practice. You used to come up here, do all your recovery and stuff during the fall when you couldn't play football, and you had to take off to college in January, right? So you commit to SC, you're recovering your body here, then you get into USC in January. How'd that transition look?
I mean,
because you're there in the spring now, you know?
Yeah. Wait, say it again?
How'd that transition go from you from kind of, because you graduated early to college, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you leave in January? So once you take off, you know, going in there, you're not doing spring ball, right? It's pretty much, I just got to get healthy. So when you're hurt, people don't realize you're out of sight, out of mind, right? Meaning you're not with the team running on the field, you're not doing workouts, you're not doing spring ball. It's pretty much your loneliest time ever because you're not a part of the game plan.
Exactly.
Right? And you're lonely, and you all the thoughts are going in your head of, will I ever get healthy? Is someone going to take my spot? Did I make the right decision? Will I ever be the same? And it takes a lot of mental toughness and a lot of confidence in yourself and your ability and your foundation to get through that struggle, right?
Exactly.
So now you're at SC and you're not able to do anything. Kind of what that 6 months, your first semester at SC look like? What was your schedule?
It was wake up. I obviously have to be there same time everyone got there. But I just worked out. They went to practice, and it's called the pit.
I know, the pit.
Nobody want to be in the pit.
They call it either Muscle Beach or the pit, where it's like, damn, I'm not even practicing. I'm just over here lifting.
That's
and
the
getting
work.
Swole. Yeah,
that's all. Work. That's all I did though. I was just working out.
Private training.
Everything. Just nothing. Just working out. I couldn't.
Who was your strength coach? Was Osman still there? Or?
No, it was always Coach Wiley.
Okay, Wiley was there.
So I'll just work out, and like you were saying, like those thoughts really go through your head, right? And it's just like do you really love this? Like,
do you really love it?
Like, is this what I want to do? Stuff like that. Like, why am I here?
Why am I here? Yeah.
Like, how long is this going to take? Like, am I ever going to feel the same? You just have those thoughts in your head.
100%.
And then the other thoughts are like, nah, fuck that. Like, I know who I am. Like, I'm going to get through this. And it's just a process, though. Like, that process is the real ass word. Like, it's a process, right? And it's just, you never know how long it's going to take. So you just got to work till you feel the best you possibly can. And then, honestly, I was feeling good my freshman year. After,
who were you leaning on at that time? Was it your mom and dad that was helping you? Kind of, who was kind of your motivation during that time? Who would you call just to kind of say, hey, this is where I'm at, you know, just for some encouragement?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I really didn't have anyone, but I lived with my best friend, Kyron.
Yeah, good person to be with.
That's my dog. So, I mean, when days I didn't feel like doing nothing, I was like, hey, bro, let's go do something. Like, let's clear my mind. He kind of knew like what was up, so he was just always rock with me.
He's a grinder.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'll just feed off of him and just see what he's doing and just, you know, excite me off of his work and be like, damn, bro, I could do that shit too. So I was just like, that's my guy though. Kyron's
a grinder. He was the underdog who just always worked and out-competed people. Earned a spot at Mater Dei after a couple years, right? Then same thing at SC, right? I don't know why he gets overlooked or whatever it may be, but he just is a consistent hard worker who just, you know, just grinds and ends up taking everyone's spot.
Exactly.
That's a good person to be roommates with.
Yeah.
So now you're there at SC. Now you get a new head coach in, right? So Lincoln Riley comes in. What was that first meeting with Lincoln Riley? Because they usually pull players in and kind of talk to guys just to kind of...
Yeah, he was just telling me about himself and what it means for me to be there, because obviously I was the first kid committed.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to build around me and stuff like that. And I mean, I respect Coach Riley. Like, he's a great guy. Like,
exactly.
To this day, great person, great coach, and got nothing negative to say about him.
Yeah, never, right? You got people who believe in you. So now you're there, you're playing with them, you get help. You actually go through spring, another adversity, right? You end up getting hurt. They kind of get you back too early, right?
Exactly.
Was that a doctor decision? Was that Russ? Who kind of, did they just feel like you're ready or?
So I was 100%, I was good,
cleared,
right?
Yeah.
And
people don't know that you got hurt while you're at SC. Yeah.
But that's another issue. I took a cut. I'm like, damn, my knee again.
Did you have a knee brace on, or you just you're ready to go?
No, I was just ready. I was like 100% cleared, everything. I think it was the second day of pads.
Yeah.
When it happened, man. Just made a bad cut. My knee
swelled up again.
Yep. I'm like, fuck this again. And that's when I went in the dark mode again.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's just like, fuck, bro. Again, I just did all this goddamn work. I hurt again, right? Yeah. So I just had to do that again, and people didn't know that. Yeah. But we kept that silent.
I remember you text me like, bro, I got hurt again. Like, damn.
People was always questioning, like, what's wrong with you? And
it's hard to not say anything. You're just kind of.
One thing about me though, it's hard for me to like quit, give up, any type of shit, right?
It's not
so I fought through that shit the whole year. I was fucking crying in my room, like 100%. After every game, everything, like
you're
practice,
watching
everything
plays that you can make, or people on the field, and it's like, I'm here at my dream school. Everything I prayed for, I'm here, but I can't do it because of this damn injury.
And I try to do it, but I'm just physically, it's just not the same. Like I can't put pressure, I can't do anything, but I still do it.
Yeah.
Like with a limp, I don't care. Like it's gonna take a lot for me to, tap out, give up, like everything. It's just not who I am, and so I have to go through all that.
So you got hurt in spring. So freshman year, right? You're there. Go through spring ball, you come back too early, you get hurt, then you get ready for your first freshman year, right? So now you're there. What were you on the depth chart? Did they know you weren't playing?
Yeah.
Were they just going to kind of give you reps just to be able to evaluate you so you get a taste of the game?
I mean, everyone knew what I was dealing with inside in the house.
Yeah, in-house,
So it's just like, we're going to
So the goal was to redshirt then?
Nah, I was going to redshirt because they knew how, physically tough I was. I'm not going to quit. Like, I'm going to do it no matter what. So I just did that. I think I was
because who was in front of you?
I think I was like second string still, third string.
Yeah.
I was rotating. But I mean, in college football, I mean, second string don't really get no action anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wasn't seeing the field no way unless it was a blowout.
You were still dressing up?
Yeah, I was still dressing up. I just didn't go to a few
away games
because my knees was bothering me those weeks, and no one ever said anything, just kept in-house and was just try to do the best I possibly could.
Yeah.
Without complaining anything.
So you got 1 year underneath your belt. You did a full trip around the sun, right? So you went from January, you got there, you enrolled at spring ball time. You get hurt, you go through your recovery process again all summer. You're getting a little bit of playing time freshman year.
Yeah.
Right? Now we're getting ready to, you've been there for a full year. Now we're back to the off season in spring, right? Were you healthy by the end of the year?
Yeah.
You still kind of got built back up?
I'll say towards the end of the year, that's when I was feeling the best, but still not 100%. My sophomore year was really when I was like, you know what? I'm feeling good.
The confidence coming back. I went with pressure break.
I went through spring. I was feeling fine. Made it through spring, my first spring. Really my first goddamn football
junior year, senior year, for 3 years off.
So I'm saying
that is nuts to take 3 years off from the game. And that's kind of what happened with me, right? I went to SC for 3 years and then didn't really play a lot. Then I go to Louisville, I sit. And then by the time I actually get to play, it's almost my 5th year in college, you know, and it's like, damn, you haven't played in a long time. But what that does is when you're away from the game, you're away from the limelight, you get to see who's really there for you. Right? You get to see who's like, you know, who's really here for me for the hype or who's really here for me to make sure that they're for me, you know, to really love me. And that's what allowed me to cut out a lot of the bullshit, a lot of the pretenders around me, because now they can't get something from you. The agents aren't calling, the this, you know, the NIL deals, all that stuff, you know, those people are, can't really do much for me. I can't make money off of you, you know? Yeah. So now you really get to get your circle really small, right? Because now you cut out everybody who was just there to use you and to be a part of your journey. Well, after you being off the football field for 3 years, now you could you have a good sense of who really wants to see me do great, you know? You always came back every year here, anytime you were in town. And it was awesome kind of watch you as you went now through you're healthy now. Now it's like, okay, Domani's Domani. He doesn't change the type of player he is. Yeah. Once he gets opportunity, he's healthy, he's going to go make plays, right? So you get now as you're going through your sophomore year at USC, you go through spring ball. Do you know you're starting going into the fall? Were you competing with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of don't really ever know if you start.
Up, yeah.
I mean, shit, you can not
transfers now. People are bringing in a lot of different.
The week of the game, I mean, you could start the whole week, and Friday is like you're not starting, like stuff like that. But I knew who I was, obviously.
Yeah.
And people around me.
What was the first game you started that year? Was it out the gates?
Yeah, I started sophomore year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started right out the gate.
So game one, who'd you play game one?
San Jose.
Okay, so you had an easier game to kind of ease back into it.
Exactly.
You got struggled a little bit, but
yeah, I mean that's how it always is. And that's like me. That's my first real game, and now this is what 3.5 years, and nobody will ever think of that. They just know who I am, right?
Yeah.
What my name?
5-star Domani Jackson, #1 player. Yeah.
All they just want to just blurt whatever out, right?
Hype this, you ain't shit. Yeah, all that.
Exactly. So.
Oh, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know, heavy as the head who wears the crown.
Yeah. So I just, it was a little rough my first few games, but towards I think like 4th game is really when I locked in and was like, man, it's just like fucking high school. Like nothing changed.
Slowed down.
Like, yeah.
So for you, what was like your first big moment or your big play that you made at SC?
My first big moment. I think it's probably like a 3rd down stop. Them are always good though, cause crowd goes crazy and everything.
Yeah, was it at the Collie?
Yeah, it was at the Collie. Yeah.
Awesome. So how many games did you end up starting that sophomore year?
How many games did we play? We went 7-5. So 11.
Pretty much you started all the games but one.
Yeah, cause I was injured that game. Had a concussion.
So now you got your feet wet. You're starting at USC. Everything that you prayed for, everything that you worked for, through all that adversity. Now you're starting. You have your starting position. You got #1. They gave you the number. Your feet are wet. Now I could start the next couple years here at USC, right? And then boom, 7-5 season. Your defensive coordinator gets fired again. So now you're on your second defensive coordinator in 2 years, whatever it may be. When did you know you wanted to transfer? Was it going through the season? Because you hear it in the locker room, right? You see the locker room divided. Guys who are 100% bought in, they sit with each other at the tables, dinner, lunch, whatever. Then the guys that are all just talking shit on the program, they go and they sit by themselves, and all they're doing is talking shit and being negative. During that time now, you guys are 7-5. Your head coach your defensive coordinator gets fired. what in your head, kind of what is going on behind the scene?
I mean, truthfully,
Were you still gonna stay?
Yeah, I was locked in.
Just finish the process, you know?
I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just finish it out, right? But
was the guys transferring out? That was kind of, you know, that kind of
swayed you, or was it? It was truthfully my coach, right? Me and him were.
Dante got fired, huh?
He didn't get fired. He just
took another job.
Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, that's my coach, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole reason why I'm here.
There.
Like, I'm gonna have no coach, so like, what am I gonna do? Just go out there with no coach?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so we was all in a meeting, right? We got a text.
And it's funny because behind the scenes, they're calling me. Like, what are they doing? What are they thinking? It's like, bro, I don't know what Corey's doing. I don't know what Domani's doing.
Yeah, and it was just like, damn, it all hit, right? I was like,
the dream of playing at my school of choice is probably coming to an end. That was a hard decision for me to leave. You know, I transferred after my junior year, and it's like, damn, this is what I prayed for. I'm here, and Pete Carroll leaves. My coach leaves. My linebacker coach leaves, and it's like, am I really not going to graduate from SC? Like, damn.
Exactly. All my homies there, like, we grew up with each other, played against each other. Like, we're all there. It's a great locker room.
Yeah.
Like, SC has a great locker room, right? But my coach, and I'm like, I don't know how. I committed
to him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Talk to my mom, my dad. And I was like, you know, I'm going to go to practice. Just finish it out. And it was just different. It was completely different. Like, they had coaches.
What week is this during the season?
It was actually our bowl week, bowl prep, like 2 weeks before the bowl. And it just, I didn't have the vibe. Yeah. Like, you know, when you.
Because everyone's on eggshells. People don't realize towards the end of a season, coaches are looking at new jobs behind the scene.
Yeah.
And coaches know they're getting fired.
Yeah.
Right. So now you go from this positive environment as you start the year, you go through it. And when shit goes bad, that's when you feel the whole organization and program start kind of changing. Because people are kind of missing. They're not around as much. They're not doing meetings. And it's like, this is kind of unsettling. Something's happening right now. You just don't know what it is.
Exactly. So we was just like, you know what? I'm going to really think about this, right? So I went home. Again, I talked to my mom, my dad. It was just like, I think I want to transfer. I want to just open it up and just see what they think about me. What's my value? Exactly, right? And
did you already know what school you wanted to go to?
I kind of obviously knew I wanted to go to Alabama or Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, the first school who contacted me was Alabama. And I was like...
And Harbaugh was leaving, so Michigan probably wasn't really an option, right?
Yeah, it was... Man, it was a quick turnaround. It was 2 weeks of grind, talk to everybody. It was honestly too much again, like that.
It was a lot.
It was, goddamn, like every school. I'm telling, like, my phone blew up.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, they still remember me. Like, I didn't really, showcase my talent as I wanted to the SC.
But Domani Jackson.
But I mean, they still remember me with
something. That feels good for your confidence to know.
Exactly.
Like, damn, people still, they respect my game and what I did before.
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at like Tennessee. I was looking at Texas A&M, Texas.
Was NIL a factor?
Nah, I don't really care about NIL like that. Like, I'm there to work. Like, I want to go against the best. I want to be around the best. That's what my mindset was.
Yeah, I want to develop and win.
Yeah, and what chose to go to Alabama was that, right?
Nick
Saban. I mean, shit. Nick Saban, goddamn, wanted me 2 times. Like, most kids like
second time.
Yeah, most kids don't get the opportunity, and his whole motto was just like, I never forgot about you. I know who the player, like what player,
you are and what we could
exactly.
do with you.
So I was just like, man, I appreciate it. Then
it's love.
I committed.
Was Deion Sanders ever a thought?
That hit me up, but
just kind of I'd rather go play down there. So boom, they hit you up. Do you take a visit down there with your family, or is it kind of just I'm committing on the spot?
So we already been down there, for high school visit. So we was just like, I want to go against the best. I want to be around the best and be with the best coach, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I committed.
And then boom.
Another
Here
boom.
we go. Boom. Another adversity. All right. So now as we go through this, people think you had it easy. Junior year, COVID miss, get hurt senior year, freshman year, you get hurt again. That's 3 years out. You finally get your starting spot. You start 11 out of the 12 games. You lose 2 defensive coordinators at USC. You lose your coach who recruited you to Georgia. Now, boom, you go and commit to the best college coach ever in the history of football, Nick Saban. You commit, you get on campus. How'd that talk go with Nick Saban?
Yeah. My first meeting, man. My first team meeting.
January, what? First week of January?
7th, I think it was.
Yeah. Just reporting.
I moved, yeah. My man retired, but.
So what did he do? He came in the meeting room and just said, hey.
Yeah. So he just came in. He was talking about some personal stuff, and then he just said he wants to do the best for the program.
Yeah.
Right? And that was for him to retire. I mean, what else can he do, though? Like,
yeah,
I mean, my man's a GOAT.
He checked
like,
every box.
He needs his time.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, spend with his wife, like
exactly.
everything. Yeah, most definitely. So, I mean, I was already there, so I was like, I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah,
like
because Julian Thane lasted a week.
Yeah.
You know Julian from prep school, so he got there. Next thing you know, he was gone like in 2 days.
Yeah, and I mean, my whole motto was like, I know what Alabama is. I know who they are. I know how they grind. Like that's what I want to be a part of. Like I needed that in my life at the time, right? So I was like, man, I'm not going nowhere. Y'all don't gotta worry about me. Everyone was calling me like, are you going? Like, nah, I'm
leave again.
Nah, I'm straight. Like I'm 100% locked in, right? And I made sure all my teammates in the locker room knew, like,
be
bro,
a leader,
I'm staying.
and
like,
we're locked in.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
So what was the locker room vibe? Was it kind of all in disarray? I can imagine, right?
Everybody was talking about they leaving.
Everyone's phone, exactly.
Yeah, everybody was talking about like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah.
Shoot. The next day, man, I see everybody in the locker room like, y'all ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what y'all talking about?
Yeah.
So it was just stuff like that. And then our AD just said, give me 72 hours, right? And I think he hired someone in 48 hours.
He kind of knew who he wanted, probably.
Mm-hmm. He went through a whole lot, and he hired our new coach, Coach DeBoer, right? And Coach
DeBoer. Did you know him? The
no,
Washington coach. You didn't know. Where were they at when they were coming out of high school?
I think Fresno State.
Okay.
But I mean, Coach DeBoer is great. I mean, he's a great coach. I was like, man, I like his vibe. I'm staying, like, regardless. So, then all the coaches started to,
trickle
get a little. But yeah, it took I think 2 weeks for everything to be set in stone.
Nice.
And then we just went through each coach and like talking to them, had our own interviews and stuff like that.
Did they bring in a lot of their players, or was it too late in the portal to bring in guys, or was it just
they brought a receiver in, a quarterback,
nothing crazy.
Yeah, Bama's still Bama at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Right? They got their own players.
Yeah, exactly.
Weight room still stayed the same, so we all
everything's the same. Yeah. Gonna be dogs there no matter what.
Yeah, and then my Coach Mo, I like him a lot. He's a great guy. Yeah.
So now you're there, your coaching staff is set. How did spring ball go? How'd you like that process?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, from the workout starting the beginning of spring, man, that was a struggle.
After it.
Yeah, it was a struggle coming from USC to Bama.
Yeah.
No knocking SC, but it was just
the
like
competition level, or was it the mindset or the griminess?
It was just a
you go to the
goddamn
South
grind, bro.
Just,
like the grind is completely different out there.
Yeah.
Like you put just
hungry.
Yeah, man.
It ain't about the flash, or there's no Hollywood down the street. There ain't no Laker games. I talked to you and all the boys that went to SC. I said, it's very hard to be a local superstar in California. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but when you go up to SC, you're taking everybody with you, your whole fan base here, just right up the street. The distractions at SC isn't just you being a college athlete. We're talking about all the girls on campus that go to SC are throwing the booty at you. You have Long Beach State, you have UCLA girls, you have Hollywood grown women, right? You are a professional athlete living in the biggest market being LA, and there's so many distractions when you go from a SoCal superstar in high school, transition into USC. And it's not even just about being a good football player there. Now, can you go and maintain and control all the distractions that go on? And why do you think so many national recruit 5-star guys go to SC and don't play? Is it because of that, or is it because the uncertainty with coaches? Like, why do so many guys go there and don't have success? It's not just your era.
Yeah,
I'm talking about since the last 20 years since I went there. It's like guys were NFL draft guys. They had draft grades coming in, and they just all fall off.
I had a lot of conversations with people who went there. Same as that conversation. What happens to the people who are highly recruited like me and everyone else?
Corey Foreman.
Goddamn Brew McCoy, right?
Brew McCoy.
Like, we all go there. Even like Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra, yeah.
Like,
Fourth round,
draft pick. I really don't know. Like, I don't know.
And people ask me all that all the time.
I don't know.
Why don't they go to SC and excel? Why don't they go and live up to the potential? I just say, well, the grind that they had getting there, the same 24 hours isn't the same 24 hours that they were focused on in high school when they were coming out. High school was about getting there. You get there to LA, and now you have, for us, we had Denzel Washington at practice. You had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Snoop Dogg sending us limos to go to concerts. We're sitting courtside seats at Laker games. So all this stuff goes. You got grown women coming at you, flying private jets, and it's like, you for me, it's like your head gets so big and you think, like, I made it. Like, this is where it's at. And it's like, you're still, for when I was there, I have $1,100 stipend. I ain't make nothing. I could fake it till I make it. I could be at the table when they're popping bottles, but at the end of the day, I'm going back to the dorm room and I'm trying to make it. You know, and I see so many people who go into SC who really believe, like, I arrived. And then their play on the field just kind of suffers. And guys that should have been top draft picks, even like a Joe McKnight when he was there, who went 5th round, Everson Griffin, you know, Chris Calippo, who didn't even get drafted, #1 player in the country, Corey Foreman, right? And it's like, what happens when we transition to SC, at least the local boys, where is it the structure from the coaches? Does the university not have enough structure and things set up to eliminate all the outside noise? Because when I went to Louisville in the Midwest with no pro team, you're focused on ball.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing there? There's nothing in Kentucky. You know, you go to Alabama, and when I went down there, it's like, oh, dang, this ain't LA. You know, it's literally this little small market of a college town. And I always tell our players now, like, it's so much funner playing in a college town that doesn't have any pro teams, because they love you to death. They're out there at 6 a.m. for the 7 p.m. game tailgating, and like, your now focus could be more of a college student versus being a professional athlete at 19 years old.
Yeah, one thing about that,
man,
bro,
LA's hard.
Our spring game,
popping,
bro. That was probably more.
Ever seen.
Bro,
I get it, bro.
I hop off the bus, bro. There's people, like, there's stairs in our stadium, and it's filled with, like, goddamn fans everywhere. Like, it's just like a pile of ants, like a ant pile, just like, I'm like,
spring game,
bro. What?
How many times did the Coliseum fill out when you're at SC? Zero.
None.
It's quiet,
bro.
They drinking their wine, like,
it was the loudest. Like, we came out, it was the loudest I ever heard in the stadium. And bro, it's our spring game
for you. Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is just completely different.
And that's why SC and UCLA and Miami, you look at any program in a big city, Houston,
they don't do that.
Dallas, Miami, you know, freaking LA, like, it's not like that. There's too many options out there. But that's kind of what I always look back when people talk about SC, and we sent probably 25 kids there in the last 10 years. And it's like, it very rarely really works out. Right. And is it like, did we not prepare them right? Was it just like the culture there? Was it too many distractions, you know? And that's just something they have to figure out. But for me, I say go to a small town, right? That's why Oregon's cleaning house right now, getting all the kids from out here and these different Michigan, you know, things like that, Bama, where college football is really still college football.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like another reason why I wanted to go to a college town. Yeah. To experience that. I mean,
that's awesome.
You only go to college once in your lifetime. And I'm just like, man, why not go to like a program where I can experience that, right?
Straight up.
So I was like, I want to go here to experience that.
That's awesome. So now you're at Alabama. You have a new coaching staff. You had a good spring. Did you end up starting, or were you kind of competing? Or
yeah, I mean, our room, truthfully, is super young. So I'm like
the vet now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Feels good to be the vet, huh?
It's crazy.
Like, look around. It's like,
I'm like, damn, I'm the oldest one. Yeah. So it's a whole lot of freshmen and Xavier Brown, my high school. So he's there with me.
Anybody else that you know from SoCal there? It's kind of just you two.
Yeah, it's just really us two now.
Do they look at you guys from California different?
I mean, I'm Cali on the team, right?
Yeah. So exactly, that's what it's like. Cali.
It's just like everything else in life. I mean, they just think you're all
stand out, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I prove myself every day,
Always.
So it's just like it's
just
just
go down to the South and it's tatted up gold grills.
Yeah,
can't understand half the words that they're saying. Baby mamas on the team, half of them are rappers, and it's like, dang, bro, I came down to Rick Ross video shoot down here in the trap.
Yeah, but all my teammates are cool, bro. Like,
and they all want to know
they're
about
just
California.
the same. Yeah, they all want to. Yeah, they actually came down here and they were just like, I love it. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're here. That's kind of your story from 8th grade all the way through. How do you feel now looking back on it, the decision coming to Winter Circle Prep Academy, kind of, and having the support system here at Winter Circle kind of helped you through your journey?
I mean, like I said, it was probably the best decision of my life. Just grinding, 8th grade, learning my body, just seeing what I can do, and I'm just like
learning what the workload looks like.
Exactly, at such a young age where people can't really get used to it till high school, and it's already high school is already too late. So it's just like learning in 8th grade and getting a whole year under my belt and going to high school and even excelling even more is just better. And being around the best athletes in IE, Southern California, just everywhere, and just be like, let's work, man. Let's just do what we came here to do, and the rest is history. I mean, I don't look back once, and
100%.
I went to 2 different schools already, and I'm just ready for the work and see what my future holds.
That's awesome. I always say the foundation, right? If you built your house on quicksand, when something bad happens, you're screwed, right? But for you, right, and a lot of kids that come through our program, the foundation that we set here in that 8th grade time, because I've talked to you like you were an adult since you were 8th grade, kind of just educating you on what it's going to look like. Had pro athletes around you, different things like that, and it's like if you could always fall back to your foundation, right, which is just working. Right, that's what people don't get. I could have the best facility in the world, but if you don't show up and work, there's nothing that I could offer you. Right, we have a weight equipment, we have this, we have protein. If you don't take your protein, that's on you. If you don't work hard, that's on you. But by the time you leave our program, I know it's only 1 year of your life when you came here, and obviously you came back every year after that, but that foundation is something that you should always be able to fall back on, because the work here, the structure, it's really like what you're going to see in the league or a college program, from the academics to the coaches that we're surrounding you by, to you being able to see older guys. Because when you were here, it was OG? Elijah Griffin that was here, and Kyle Ford, and kind of.
We'll see him at lunch, right? And we're just like,
these guys are here.
Yes, and now
that's him. That's 5-star Elijah Griffin,
Yeah, we just all be looking at him, seeing what
Marcus
he does.
Williams,
like,
NFL draft pick,
Saints,
just kind of see those guys and kind of see what it looks like just working, right? I always say we don't sell any hype. I'll lose more customers than gain because I'm brutally honest, and I might hurt people's feelings, but I'd rather tell you
the truth
now and say what this grimy game that you're signing up for is really going to look like. And the ones who are receptive, the ones who do listen, and they don't listen to the word, really the tone in my voice, they listen to actually the message, right? They gain a lot, and they take that with them as they go through their journey. And there's certain guys that always reach back out, and talk as they go through these things. I've been through so many things in my life as an athlete, from 3 different colleges to NFL, getting cut to combine, so whatever it may be, that we should be able to kind of educate you on what it's going to look like. Doesn't matter if you're coming back from an injury or if you just have the perfect process. But it's very rare that you see people go from high school All-American to college All-American to getting drafted. Right, that's a fantasy for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are going to go through adversity. You're going to have coaches who leave, but if you could go back to that foundation, that's something that's going to set you up for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Right, and that's cool to see, kind of you be able to fall back on that foundation. So, kind of last question for you is, so many kids want to get recruited, and so many kids want to be 5-star guys. Did any of that stuff matter, being a 5-star recruit once you got to college?
Not at all, man.
Not at all, right?
There's so many people in college who are just unranked, 2 stars,
work hard and do things right,
consistent. That's what I probably say. I'll just be like, you just gotta be consistent every single day, right? You could be a 5-star, you could be a 2-star, but like, if the 5-star is not consistent, the 2-star is consistent, the 2-star is gonna take your spot,
100%.
and the 5-star gonna be on the bench, and everyone's gonna ask, like, why is the 5-star on the bench? And it's just consistency, right?
And we see that with players we know who are the best players in America who don't play. Well, the bad habits that they gained from people allowing them to get through and do whatever they want because they were the 5-star ended up hurting them once they got to college.
Exactly.
Right? And I always tell people, I've watched walk-ons start because they did everything right. and the 5-star fails a drug test, doesn't show up to practice on time,
meetings, everything,
doesn't go to meetings, doesn't take notes, falls asleep. And it's like, cool, your 5-star ranking that you got in high school doesn't mean shit to a college coach once you're on campus. Yeah, you might go and give that guy the first opportunity, the second opportunity, but after he keeps showing you who he really is, right? We just seen it with the DB from Colorado, right? From the Buffs, whoever the 5-star guy was, who was with Dion. He ended up transferring, talking bad about Dion, and now he's struggling to just even get on a team again, right? And it's like so much kids that have the hype and have the ego and have never been challenged or never been forced to just do their job day in and day out. You can't freelance on a football field in a good program. Everyone has an assignment. Everyone has a job. And a coach would play a player who might have less talent, but he could trust.
Trust it. Yep. That's all it's about. Trust with the coach.
Trust. Does a coach trust that you're going to do your job? You're going to be in the right place at the right time, right? The worst thing a coach wants is a player who's like this, who's inconsistent, drives him nuts. I'm sure you hear this all the time. I want a player where it's never too high, it's never too low. I know exactly what I'm going to get out of that kid, and I know I could trust him when I put him on the field. And so many guys that go through this process who have the hype, who have the stars, transition to college and they transfer immediately, or they don't play and it's everybody else's fault, but it's because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right? The simple philosophy of do your job really applies not just to football, but in life. Right? If you have a job and you don't show up on time, you're going to get fired. Right? If you don't go to work and you don't get paid and you can't feed your family, they're going to take your house from you. Yeah. Right? So the things that you learn on how to become the best player and a national recruit and how to play in college, if you learn how to apply those things in life, not just football, you're going to be successful at whatever you do. Right? You're going to be a player where maybe you play 10 years in the NFL or you don't. But whatever you put your mind to next, you're going to be successful because you overcame adversity, you know how to work, and you know how to be consistent, right? And that's the biggest thing I try to tell kids is you have to create good habits, right? And you got to do things the right way. And you just got to have to outwork people, So for you, what is something out there where you feel like the kids need to know about the process that we didn't talk about? Like, what is it like they need to do? What's important? Is it playing for a top team for 7-on-7? Is it is it the training aspect? Is it the nutrition? Is it the mind, body, spirit? What is it that is most important for these kids? Because so many kids are just focused on hype.
Yeah. It's honestly just work. You just got to work day in and day out. I mean, still, you wake up some days you don't want to do it, but I mean, it's what you came on earth to do, right? So you got to do it. You just got to do 110% every single day, even if you don't feel like doing it. And we ain't talking about this, but nutrition is actually
huge,
fucking huge.
Yeah,
like it's probably the most important thing in college.
Taking care of your body and nutrition, right?
Like, my mom and whatnot was always making me shakes in the morning. I was like, man, I don't want this. Like, I'm gonna just go to sleep till I get to school, right? But in college, like, we get in trouble for not going to all our meals.
Tutoring.
We get in trouble for not going to tutoring classes, not drinking our shakes. So, like, for the youth, like, you guys need to start at a young age to drink them drinks, eat 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day. Go to school. Don't be late. Just do everything correct because it all falls in line.
It adds up to that foundation.
It just all adds up at the end of the day. Like, you're not gonna. You got to do it. So there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do the things that you're telling these kids to do now because it all makes sense at the end of the day.
Do you think you would be the athlete you are in the 5-star Domani Jackson without the foundation of strength and conditioning and nutrition?
No, I wouldn't because in high school it'd be too late.
Average people now.
I'll just be too late on the train.
And I try to tell people all the time, the kids that come through, bigger, stronger, faster always sells.
Exactly.
Right? I could care less if you play for a top U football team or a 7-on-7 team. If you're not big, strong, and fast, like, you have no chance. Because as you go through youth career to high school to college to the NFL, guys are big, strong, and fast. Like you playing on a hype team or whatever it may be. That's cool. You could get away from it for so long. You could get the hype from being on that team. But at a certain point, they're not evaluating your team.
Yeah, it's you.
They're evaluating you, And for you, how important is football IQ? Right? Because we do Zoom meetings, we do classroom meetings here. For kids at the youth level, do you think they should start now on the whiteboard and understanding the football aspect of it? Not even the strength conditioning or just playing reps, but more like learning football.
Like how important most of definitely that was probably like a little struggle me going to college. It's just the IQ part, right? But I wouldn't think like going crazy right now with the IQ, but obviously fundamental stuff.
If you're a DB, do you
of course like cover 2, 3, all that? Yeah, of course. Like, you got to know that, right?
Yeah.
So for that, yes, I think they should be able to.
Because I feel like that's why Josh Hunter had success. He was 5'8", 165 pounds, captain of the team. He wasn't the best athlete on the field, but I felt like he had success because he was smart here, and he kind of knew where the ball was going before he understood his football IQ. So for when you transferred to college, do you feel like modern day prepped you for that? Or do you think because you're such a good athlete, they just said, Domani, play man? Because you've been playing man forever. You know?
Yeah.
How was it going from?
Yeah, it was just hey, guard him. You know. I mean, shit. We just played man.
For sure.
That was it.
Yeah.
In high school, so.
And once you got into more of a zone defense, did it just take time to kind of understand that?
Yeah, like coming into college, yeah, it was a bit of struggle, just because
never been asked to do it.
Yeah, I never was able to line up and have eyes on the quarterback.
7 up, 7 by 1, reading 2 to 1.
Yeah, I never had that, but it's different in college. Like that's how you make plays
for sure.
So,
do you guys run a lot of man at Bama now, or is it kind of zone?
It's
a little bit of mix?
It's everything, yeah. But we're mostly like eyes on QB, like we're gonna get that ball.
Yeah,
that's our mindset. Like turnovers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the people out there who think getting held back is cheating, what do you have to say with that? Idiots, huh? Like, come on, dog.
Yeah, everybody be saying that, but I mean, we're smart, very smart actually. Right. We're the ones who are getting looked at the most.
Yep.
The kids that's not getting held back, we're preparing ourselves to be able to step in high school, the first day and be able to compete.
Yeah.
People who don't get held back, it's a struggle. Like they not probably gonna get ready till sophomore, junior year, but that's already too late. So, I mean, my whole thing is it's smart to get held back, right? You get your body and mind and everything ready for high school.
Yeah.
And it all works out.
Do you think you would be where you're at now if you didn't get held back?
Nah.
Me too.
I have no clue where the hell I would be.
No clue. I try to tell people.
If I went to high school,
you went to Merida Valley.
I don't know where the hell I would have went.
You went to Merida Valley out of high school.
Be lost. Right?
And people was like, how could you say that? You're a good football player. That 1 year of me getting held back set me up for the rest of my life. Exactly. I was literally ahead of the 8 ball my entire career because of one decision I made. I understood how to train. I was bigger, stronger, faster than the incoming class, right? Grades were better, right? And it's like, I see kids who don't get held back. And it's like, well, if you're good enough, you'll make it. Dog, you're tripping.
That's it. Selfish right there.
Selfish.
Selfish.
And I always say, is it cheating that I write off expenses for taxes? Like they say, like they're giving that you're allowed to write things off, right? So if I'm a business owner, if I don't write off my car, my lake house, my this, my that, and then I have to pay all these taxes to the government, I'm stupid.
Exactly.
So if they're saying you could do it and it's within the rules, why would I not write write off $1 million in taxes?
Yeah.
Versus paying Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like the information's there. It's up to you to use it, especially if you want to go and compete in the day and age. Because if you look at rivals in 247 right now, 1 through 40 players on that ranking list for the last 8 years were all kids who got held back. Yeah. Every quarterback in California, the top 3 to 5 have all been holdbacks. Best quarterbacks: DJ Ugalele, holdback; Real Mitchell, Bryce Young, JT Daniels, Shane Illingsworth, Kyle Crum, Izzy Carter, Carson Conklin. Like we go down the list, like bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, more prepared is what's going to make your brand and make you successful, right? So it's like one decision for people in 8th grade could change your entire life because it did mine. I would have never went to SC.
Man.
I would have never went to Norco, won championships. I wouldn't have Winter Circle right now because I would have just been a lost little 13-year-old kid going on a campus, not having a plan. That 1 year of having a plan really set me up for everything.
Exactly.
So you're pro hold back.
Yeah.
Right?
Big pro.
Pro, doc. My kids are getting held back, That's awesome.
Yeah.
appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, thank
right?
you.
It's been a journey with you. You started with us probably 2017. We're probably almost 7 years into this grind. You got a couple years left. If it's 1 or 2 years in college, you know, get your degree and get to the NFL. But it's been awesome to watch you go from a 13-year-old kid, right, to where you're at now. Go through all the adversities. Not too many people really know who Domani Jackson is. They see the facade because of the media.
Yeah.
But you're just a down-to-earth kid who works hard, who always trusts the process, who is all about just competing and doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So appreciate you, dog.
Well, thank you. Love you too, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's good to have you home. Episode 8, Inside the Circle with Domani Jackson. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. Excited to just give as much knowledge and information to the youth and to families out there who don't know what it really looks like. Not only have you heard it from our college players, our NFL guys who are done with NFL, business people. I'm excited to go through these next couple weeks as we have our college kids home and kind of get to know who they are behind the helmet.